For joining us on the news at this hour. But don't forget, we are streaming videos live on our website, GRACE955FM.com. I am Agu John, or Chiago, with the news in duties. The Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) has warned motorists against night travel and overspeeding while plying major roads across Kogi State. Mr. Stephen Dawulong, Kogi State Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC), gave the warning on Thursday while confirming an accident that occurred at Akmanya near Kotokafi, Abuja-Lokoja Road in Kogi State. GRACE95.5FM News gathered that no fewer than 7 persons died and 5 others were injured in the incident. According to the FRSC Sector Commander, the incident occurred around 4:40 a.m. on Thursday when a Toyota Hiace bus had a head-on collision with a DAF articulated vehicle at Akmanya near Kotokafi on Abuja-Lokoja Road. Dawulong further stated that the accident was caused by speed and route violation by either of the affected vehicles. The FRSC commander advised people, especially drivers, to desist from night journeys and speeding while being cautious enough to maintain their lanes to avoid road crashes. The people of Kaba Borno local government area of Kogi State on Thursday embarked on fasting and prayers to seek gas intervention over recent security breaches in the area. Mr. Solomon Olorunleke, chairman Kaba Borno local government area of Kogi State, had earlier declared the fasting and prayers with approval from the Obaro of Kaba, Oba Solomon Dele Owoniyi, following 2 recent deadly explosions in the area. He said that the fasting and prayers became imperative in view of the insecurity in the area in recent times. The chairman observed that the security situation was worsened by 2 explosions that occurred in the area within 2 weeks. He called on both Muslims and Christians residents of the area to pray to God to restore peace to the once peaceful area. On May 30th, the chairman directed that beer parlors in Kaba Town must close shop at 7 p.m. daily following the explosion. Olorunleke also directed commercial motorcycles to stop operation from 10 p.m. indefinitely from May 31st. In the first explosion, 16 persons were affected, while 2 people died, while in the second explosion, 11 persons were affected and 1 person died. Elections. Atiku Abubakar has announced Ifeanyi Okowa as his running mate. Atiku made the announcement at a meeting attended by PDP executives at the party's headquarters in Abuja. PDP National Chairman Iyochai Ayu said a 17-member committee had been set up by the party to pick a running mate. He said the committee had submitted 3 names to Atiku to choose from. The final decision, however, Ayu said, was Atiku's. Speaking at the announcement event, Atiku said making a choice between the 3 names had been a difficult decision. The All Progressives Congress in Ekiti State has debunked the news making the rounds that a court in Abuja had nullified the party's governorship primary. The state APC Publicity Secretary, Segun Dipe, urged Nigerians, particularly Ekiti people and party members, to disregard the rumor and discountenance it as the flowing wish of some desperate politicians in the state, which cannot come to pass. Dipe said in a statement titled, Ekiti Goba, Biodun Oyebanji remains APC candidate. No court nullified Ekiti APC primary in Ado-Ekiti that the party's governorship candidate, Biodun Oyebanji, remained the leading candidate in Saturday's election. Moving on, a group in Abuja, the Election Transparency Group, ETG, has cautioned the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, of the danger of not feeding a governorship and other candidates in the 2023 general elections in Ebonyi State. The group said gone are the days when political parties can conduct primary elections, cancel it to conduct fresh one just to satisfy vested interests. The ATG said in a release issued on Thursday and signed by its convener, Dr. Kazim Adekunle, that the best option before the PDP was to have accepted the result of May 29, 2022 primary election of the party in Ebonyi State that produced Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwuma Odi as the governorship candidate. The group said unless the PDP National Working Committee has a motive of making sure that the party does not participate in the 2023 elections in Ebonyi State, there should be no reason anyone contemplate jettisoning a primary election duly monitored by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. ATG said with the position of INEC affirming that a report of the Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District APC primary as submitted to INEC headquarters in Abuja was final, it should be clear enough that no one can obtain the results of the May 29, 2022 primary election of the PDP in Ebonyi State. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Army to invite the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, to provide details of the total number of personnel trained and recruited by the Nigerian Army in the past 5 years. This resolution was reached after the consideration of a motion by Honorable Sajos Ogun on the need to ascertain the current numerical strength of the Nigerian Army. The House acknowledged that the Nigerian Army and the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have been overstretched by the fight against insecurity in some parts of the country, which poses a threat to the peace and unity of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the House is urging the police to fish out the perpetrators of the Owo massacre and bring them to book. The House further observed a minute silence in honor of the victims. Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate (PTAD) on Thursday said technological glitches are responsible for the non-payment of pension to retired civil federal servants in Lagos State. Executive Secretary of PTAD, Dr. Chioma Ejikeme, speaking on Channels Television Sunrise Daily, said her agency was working on resolving the delayed payments. A Lagos State Secretary of the National Union of Pensioners, Abiodun Michael, had lamented that some pensioners were being owed up to 9 months. But Dr. Ejikeme was insistent that it wasn't the fault of PTAD, but the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. Legal matters. The former Deputy Chief of Staff to Governor Bello Matawalle of Zamfara State, Bashir Mohammed Maru, and 4 others have been arraigned in the Chief Magistrate Court 1, Gusau, the state capital, over the misappropriation of an official Hilux vehicle. The 5 accused persons were arraigned in court on 2 counts bordering criminal conspiracy and misappropriation of an official Hilux vehicle issued to the former Deputy Chief of Staff, Bashir Mohammed Maru. Those who were charged to court with the Deputy Chief of Staff were Isa Usman, Shuaibu Musa, Yusuf Bello, and Malam Yassid. However, the first accused person, Isa Jibril Usman, and the second accused person, Shuaibu Musa, were brought to court, but the 3 other suspects, including Bashir Maru, are still at large. The 2 arrested suspects who appeared in court pleaded not guilty to the 2 offenses of which they are being accused. Addressing journalists after the court section, the counsel to the state government, Mohammed Aminu, said the Zamfara state government has sought the court to adjourn the matter to a later date to enable the police to conduct further investigation and apprehend the 3 fleeing suspects who are still at large. Still on legal issues, the absence of a judge of the Federal Capital Territory High Court on Thursday stalled the trial of Peter Nwachukwu, husband of the late gospel singer Osinachi. Justice Njideka Nwosu Iheme had on June 3rd ordered that Nwachukwu be remanded in Kuje Correctional Center and fixed Thursday and Friday for hearing after he pleaded not guilty to the alleged homicide charge filed against him by the Attorney General of the Federation. He was therefore remanded pending the hearing and determination of the 23-count charge bordering on domestic violence and homicide instituted against him. Although the defendant was in court, the judge, however, was absent for Thursday's proceedings, and the court officials said they could not divulge the reason for her absence. They, in addition, stated that the court has fixed June 20th and 21st for hearing. Nwachukwu was arrested by the Nigerian police force after his wife died on April 8th, following widespread allegations by their children, family, and colleagues that he battered her, leading to her death. Investigative reporting (ICIR) has identified port funding, public sector corruption, and lack of political will to punish culprits as threat to investigative journalism, while scoring the federal government low in its vowed fight against corruption. ICIR's Executive Director Dayo Ayitan made the assertion ahead of the center's commemoration of its 10th anniversary over the years. ICIR has been at the forefront of promoting accountability and fighting corruption through robust and objective investigative reporting. Speaking during an anti-corruption radio program, Public Conscience, produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOD, Wednesday in Abuja, Ayinta revealed that investigative journalism is severely challenged by funding and systemic corruption. He noted that despite the persecution and harassment faced by journalists working for the organization, ICIR succeeded in churning out numerous investigative reports which exposed corrupt acts by public office holders, adding that some of the reports made remarkable impact as the government of the day had to react and address the abnormalities raised by investigation. Ayinto commended the MacArthur Foundation, Fund Foundation, National Empowerment for Democracy (NED), and the Institute for War and Peace Reporting (IWPR) for funding their projects. He further noted that collaboration with PRIMOD and other civil society organizations (CSO) played a significant role in the height attained by the center in the last decades. 95.5 FM news, still to come, foreign and sports news, details and more when we return from the break. Please do well to stay tuned. Don't go away. From that break, and I'm glad to know you stay with us on the news. And now to the news on the foreign scene. Israel announced an extra 2,000 entry permit for Palestinians in Gaza Thursday, bringing the total number of permits for workers from the blockade enclave to 14,000. Israel has maintained a strict blockade on the Gaza Strip since 2007, when the Palestinian Islamist group Hamza seized power. Only the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt is outside Israeli control, and it too has remained largely closed. A recent World Bank report put the unemployment rate among Gaza's more than 2 million people at nearly 48%. Work in Israel provides a lifeline for thousands of Gazans who can earn far higher wages on Israeli farms and construction sites than they do in Gaza. In May, Israel closed its only crossing for people traveling to or from Gaza for nearly 2 weeks as violence rocked the occupied West Bank, even though the Gaza border remained quiet. In the world of sports, Arsenal on the verge of sealing a deal for Manchester City Brazilian striker Gabriel Jesus. The North London club have been linked with Jesus for much of the summer so far. The arrival of Erling Haaland at the Etihad has placed his future in serious doubt after 6 years with the Premier League champions. Jesus' availability has generated lots of interest with Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur, and Champions League winner Real Madrid among the teams understood to hold an interest. But the teams reported that it is Arsenal who look to be winning the race, with club chiefs now confident they can strike a deal for the player. City are holding out for around £50 million, the report claims, and while Arsenal have only bid around £30 million so far, they are expected to push further offer closer to City's asking price. GRACE95.5 FM news, a quick look at our top stories. We told you that the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) has warned motorists against night travel and overspeeding while plying major roads across Kogi states. We also brought to your notice that the All Progressives Congress in Ekiti State has debunked the news making the rounds that a court in Abuja has nullified the party's governorship primary. And on the foreign scene, Israel announced an extra 2,000 entry permit for Palestinians in Gaza Thursday, bringing the total number of permits for workers from the blockade enclave to 14,000. And that is the size of our news package for this hour. But before you go, always remember to stay safe. Sanitize your hands as frequently as possible. Avoid touching your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth to be free from coronavirus. Always maintain the social distance order. Your health is your wealth. On behalf of the duty editor, Olatunde Odimayo, thanks for listening. I am Agu John or Chiago. Studio time now is 26 minutes past 8. Good morning and Juma Mubarak.